Face freeze. More like crab face. Oh my god. This episode from SpongeBob Squarepants sucks. This episode starts with SpongeBob and Patrick are eating lunch at the Krusty Krab. While eating, they start making ugly faces at each other. Mr. Krabs hears them laughing, and thinks it's the sound of his money being flushed down the toilet. He rushes out of his office to see them making faces at each other and tells them to stop. He then tells a story about the man, Frederick Kid, who would not stop sticking his tongue out. One day after sticking his tongue out for the 444th time, his face got frozen with his tongue out. Then, after it got frozen, it eventually dried up and fell off. SpongeBob and Patrick are terrified of this story and vowed never to make faces again. Later the day, SpongeBob and Patrick are seen trying hard not to make faces. However, they start smirking about their attempts at doing this and eventually start laughing so hard their faces start contorting. They then realized that nothing happened to their faces while doing this and that Mr. Krabs was lying. SpongeBob then suggests that they should really put Mr. Krabs' myth to the test, and while making a single continuous face, as they go to many places Bikini Bottom, they scare everyone that sees them. The Naughty Lagoon. Sandy finds them and says that they need help. Later that night, SpongeBob and Patrick are seen in a tent back outside SpongeBob's house laughing at each other's faces, along with making a lot of noise. Squidward's eardrums eventually burst and he starts yelling at them to keep it down. SpongeBob then suggests to Patrick that they try sleeping through the night while holding a face. Patrick agrees and they start doing this while giving Squidward some peace and quiet. The next day, SpongeBob and Patrick wake up and realize their faces are frozen and both of them cannot move their faces, causing them to realize Mr. Krabs was right. They start screaming and rushed down to Sandy's tree dome for help. Sandy then starts giving them a face massage. However, this just makes their faces even more distorted and they droop down to their chins. SpongeBob goes to work at the Krusty Krab anyway, despite his ridiculous frozen face. At the Krusty Krab, SpongeBob causes a lot of ruckus as he tries to make Krabby Patties and keeps Mr. Krabs from looking at his face at the same time. However, Mr. Krabs eventually finds out about SpongeBob's face freezes problem because Patrick walks into the Krusty Krab with a contorted frozen face. Mr. Krabs confronts SpongeBob on this, as the latter feels guilty and apologizes for doubting his boss' warnings. As an angry Mr. Krabs then makes a face and it freezes, followed by Squidward coming in. SpongeBob tries to warn him but Squidward sees their misfortune and starts laughing at them. He laughs so hard that his face freezes too. And the episode ends with SpongeBob, Patrick, Mr. Krabs laughing, and Squidward crying whilst having frozen faces. And they all learned a lesson. Wow. What a stupid episode. If you haven't seen it, don't watch that. It's a waste of time. I hope this episode gets taken off the Nickelodeon soon. Do you know who likes this episode? JJ the Jet Plane. He likes this episode because his face is creepy. Do you know who hates this episode? Lorix Movie Corner. And Kayla Panda Gaka Om Nom Cat Halloween. He told me to put him in the hated spot. So screw face freeze. And screw crying time. An episode from Robot Boy. Karate Island, which is my favorite episode from SpongeBob SquarePants, will be forever infinity times better than face freeze. End of rant. Next rant. Dog Tunes. After that, Miracle Star. After that, It's a Big Big World. After that, my first double rant. Timmy Time and Rubba Dubbers. And after that, Quack the Demonuti TP.